Hey there, you're watching Dirt Bike Channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Kyle Brotherson. Today, we're taking a look at this 2003 Honda CR250 dirt bike, and I'm gonna see how much it weighs. You ask why? It's because I'm curious. I weigh a lot of bikes. I've been trying to weigh all the bikes that I run through my shop and that I test and I review over the last couple of years, and I'm gonna do the same on this one. So those of you that are familiar with the program, you'll know that I try to weigh them, or I always weigh them full of fuel, because that's how I ride them, ready to ride. And in most cases, I typically do it without any aftermarket parts on it. Now, this bike actually does have a rear disc guard on it that probably weighs, you know, a pound or less than a pound. And then this bike also has a Trail Tech kickstand on it. So a lot of the bikes though that I've been riding have kickstands. Most all of them have kickstands on them. So the thing is, I'm not saying this is how much these bikes weighed when they came out in 2003. I'm just saying this is how much this bike weighs now. We also put tubeless on it, and even the variation in tires can make a big difference. And if you're running like stock tubes, tubeless is about the same weight as a stock tube, and tubeless is a little bit lighter, quite a bit lighter than like a really heavy duty tube. So we're gonna weigh this bike. It's also got the aftermarket FMF silencer on it and aftermarket FMF gnarly header pipe, the pipe up here. So we're gonna see how much it weighs and compare it to some of the other bikes that we've been reviewing recently. So let's take a look. Well, I'll be. This sucker weighs 240 pounds full of fuel, 240.0. You see that? 240.0. If I do this in kilograms, you can see, I don't know if it's focusing, it's 109 kilograms. So what does that mean? That means that this bike, actually, I'm looking up on my board, this bike right here is actually 2.5 pounds lighter than the 2019 KTM 300 XCW TPI over there. That bike over there does have electric start though. So take that in mind. What we've noticed, oh, and then if I compare this to the 2018 KTM 250 XC that it relates to a little bit more closely, that bike weighed 236 pounds. So this bike is 3.5 pounds heavier than my bike that's 15 years newer, and this bike does not have electric start. So just something to keep in mind. This bike it's got, oh, and this bike has more stuff on it. Well, it's at least got the rear disc guard. So just really interesting how much, or actually it doesn't weigh a ton, but it is heavier and it doesn't have a lot of the things that some of the newer bikes have. And if they put electric start on this, if we've learned anything from Honda and Yamaha and Kawasaki, is that when they put electric start on a bike, they get heavier by between 15 and 20 pounds. We've learned that just recently by looking at what they've done to some of their motocross bikes. I take that. They're 20 pounds heavier than the KTMs, generally speaking. So this bike would be quite a bit heavier if it did have electric start, but it'll be interesting to see how this thing performs out there on the trail. As you know, weight on the scale isn't always weight on the trail. There's so much that happens with the geometry up in the front forks and everything with the shock to determine how this is going to feel. But at least now we know how much it weighs when it's full of fuel. If you like these videos, please remember to smash the like button down there. Also subscribe to the channel. If you want to kind of see what we're doing in advance, you would have known the weight of this bike. If you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, or even on Patreon, you would know the weight of this bike before this video comes out, because I put a lot of that stuff over there on social media before it comes out on the main YouTube channel. That's pretty much it, guys. So until next time, I want you to go out there and get some riding done. Thanks, guys.